So it's changed quite rapidly.
I'm going live. We're going live. I'm setting up for your meeting. So here we go. And there you are. We're on Facebook Live. Welcome, Luke, to Butterfields in the Web. Here you are on Facebook Live. And I'll hand you over to Xuan, who will be able to facilitate and let in the rest of the participants here on Zoom. Lovely to have you with us.
Thank you. Great.
Oh, just letting everybody in. Hello, everyone. Hello, welcome everybody. So 11 of us so far. So everyone is on mute to start with. But I guess you can come up and unmute yourself if you need to. And I'll hand over to Luke now. Luke Shepherd.
Okay, great. Thank you, Xuan. Hey, hi everybody. Thank you for coming and being here today. We're going to run through some Tai Chi. It's hard for me to do this on Zoom because I don't know if you've done any Tai Chi before, what your level is, if you're just coming in to be interested. So maybe I will just run through a few things, but I hope what I can do, because there are so many different styles of Tai Chi, is to introduce some of the internal side of Tai Chi that can fit into any style. And we'll do a small amount of the form that'll give you a taste of the way I work it and see if it's good for what you know already or what you do already. There are many, many different ways of approaching Tai Chi. Some people more for meditation, some more for martial art, some more for health, Qigong reasons, and everyone's got their own interest in it. So the way I see Tai Chi, I'll just give a little introduction. So welcome to people if you've just come on board. I'm just giving a little introduction to how I see Tai Chi. I see it as a system for looking at ourselves. So rather than being something we learn, Tai Chi is a thing we learn. We use Tai Chi, or we use the principles of Tai Chi to understand ourselves and how we are with ourselves in the moment, with the movement, with all the qualities that Tai Chi bring and the principles. And what I try and do in my practice through my teachers is to introduce the principles into every single move that I do. So rather than thinking of Tai Chi being about relaxation, what's relaxing? Which part of us are changing? Which part of us are moving on the inside? And when that happens, what's the result? So we start to break it down into looking at what the principles mean and how I can apply them to myself. So I can see someone sitting there with headphones on. I don't know if you're going to join us in doing some movement. If not, yeah, excellent. Doing it in your chair, fantastic. That's great. I can't see names or anything, so welcome. I don't know how many people are here at the moment either, and I know we're on live on Facebook, so welcome if you joined us. We're just going to start with some movement. I think I've got about an hour to run through some things. Oh, great, I can see some movement going on. So let's start. I'm going to take my glasses off. When I start my practice, I always soften my feet because I want to make that connection from the feet into the ground. So all the bones in the feet held together with the muscles have to change and melt. And that's just like a fist when you soften a fist. So if you clench your fists and then you just melt them and soften them, you can feel that change. We want that same feeling in the feet. So if you put your awareness in the feet, just going to bounce up and down to get a bit of pressure in the feet to kind of give you a sensation and get you really feeling like your whole world is just your feet and the ground. And we want that meeting place between the foot and the ground to blend into each other, so the floor is allowed up into the foot. The connection points on the foot are the ball of the foot, the outside edge, and the heel. So if you imagine yourself standing in a circle, about yay big, about the size of your shoulder width, where the circle goes round, your feet, the ball of the foot, the outside edge, and the heel Sit on the edges, the rim of that circle. The knees form an arch, like a young sapling that's bent. And what I want to try and achieve is a feeling of the knees pressing into the feet very lightly. So the ankle has to soften. The muscles in the ankle have to soften. The muscles in the calf have to soften, and the muscles in the feet have to soften. And when they do that, when the muscles below soften, they receive the weight of the body. So the body is held up by the erector muscles that hold us up. When we change those muscles, the weight of the body is allowed to press into the legs. Now that change is not just in the lower body, it's in the thighs, it's in the hip joints, it's in the lower back, the groin and the buttocks, the abdomen, diaphragm, chest, shoulders, back of the neck. All the whole muscle system hangs off the skeleton. When that happens, the spine elongates, the base of the spine can drop. Not because we're tucking the tail under, which is often talked about in Tai Chi, the tail must be tucked under. I don't see it quite like that. I see it more that when you let the pelvis sink away from the crown of the head, because all the muscles in the body are softening, the spine elongates, and that's when you get the rotation of the pelvis. So from our standing posture, we try to get that sensation of the knees meeting the feet. So the feeling of the ground feels stable in the flat of the foot. It comes up to the knees. And then by softening the thighs, feeling that bridge between the knees, we let the pelvis sit onto that bridge. And the pelvis is like a boat in water, and it's fluid and it's buoyant. It's like, I've got one of these big beach balls here. It's like your weight is being placed onto the beach ball. And when I sit on the beach ball, there's a point at which I stop going down. If I was 2 stone heavier, I'd be that much nearer the ground. If I was lighter, I'd be higher up. But there's a balancing point in which the quality of the muscles in the legs, the release of the muscles in the legs, allows my weight to press me onto the ground, and I find a buoyancy. That's what we're looking for. So today, everything we do, we're going to try and look for that quality of release through the aligned body to find that buoyancy. So let's start with an exercise we can do that in. And it's just a simple standing exercise. So the feet are placed. The distance between the abdomen and the sternum, this distance here in the body, we want to increase that length. So we deliberately push upwards from the feet to the sternum so that this area increases. What that does is it pushes the spine from being somewhat collapsed, which is relaxed, into being somewhat alert and upright. And that takes contracted muscles to lift the spine. I do the same with the back of the neck. As I lift the back of the neck, I push up from the feet. My body doesn't really move, but there's a sense of filling up from the feet to push up the back of the neck. The head rotates, the chin drops, and the crown of the head is pushed upwards. And the body's in an upright vertical position. The crown of the head, the line through the middle of the body is directly between the feet. There's my structure. But standing in that structure, can you feel the tension you've used to change your body from a relaxed posture into an alert posture? From relaxed, if we do it a few times together, from relaxed, just open the chest, lift the chest up, lift the back of the neck up, drop the chin, alert, upright. Legs are active, chest active, head active. Collapsed, relaxed, up and alert. What we want to try and do is keep that posture up, but now take our focus inside, change the condition of the muscles. So we've just contracted the muscles on the inside. Now we soften the muscles on the inside. Stay in exactly the same posture, but just change the condition of your contracted muscles to releasing muscles. Take your awareness inside the body. Feel the legs, let them soften and change, just like that fist that you're going to release. The legs soften and change. Take the awareness to the belt around the middle of the body and soften. Take the awareness to the belt around the middle of the body and soften. Around the neck, face, and soften. So it's just changing the muscles from contracted to released. You won't see much change. You really won't see much change in your posture because the movement is very small, but the feeling of release is very big. Just like when you hold a fist and you release it, you don't see much change in the shape of the fist. The fist doesn't move through air. It just stays in the same place. It changes its quality. So the body stays in the same place, changes its quality. You come inside. You've already developed the external shape of the body. You change on the inside. What do you feel? Do you feel more connection on the feet on the ground? Do you feel more stable? Do you feel more? You tell me in your own mind. I can't hear you, of course, but you could say for yourself, just notice what you feel when you organize the body. Step one is lifting. Step two is softening on the inside. And then step three is an awareness developing of what does that feel like in your body? How loose is your body? How balanced is your body? How stable is your body? And scan through the whole body, listening for places where you can just let go a little bit more. The standing posture. There's one fist distance between the body and the arm. It's not that the arms are hanging like this. When the chest lifts and the shoulders, remember everything's like floating on water. The hips are like floating on water. The shoulders are like floating on water. When the chest lifts, the shoulders drop backwards and downwards. There's a synchronized movement between what the chest does in lifting and how the shoulders fall off and down the back. As the shoulders drop, the elbows drop, and that creates this space. So every time in Tai Chi, every time the body moves, every part of the body moves, and the movement is led by the center part of the body. So when the center lifts, the shoulders are pushed, allowed to drop down and out. That's the posture of the standing posture. With the middle finger on the crease of the thigh. We'll go through an exercise using some of those ideas. We just start by shaking out, loosening up the muscles, shoulders, ankles. Going to loosen up the lower back because we want some movement in the lower back. We want some rotation of the pelvis. These muscles have to soften and change. So if you've just joined us on Facebook, I'm just introducing some Tai Chi exercises to help us understand the internal changes inside the body. And the first exercise we're going to do is this one. The feet planted so we can feel the ground. The body organized in an upward condition. The quality inside the body released. And I'm just standing. The first part of the exercise is I fold the hips and I fold the knees at the same rate and the same speed. The arms are hanging and I end up in this position. If you look at my body, the back is fairly straight. What I don't want is I don't want to lean over and do the exercise by moving my arms down. I want to definitely concentrate on the hips, fold the hips, fold the knees just to a comfortable place. You find yourself in this position. Some of you may be lower, some of you may be higher, just to a comfortable place. From that position, I'm going to use the legs and I'm going to push my body up. I'm going to scoop with the fingertips and I'm pushing the legs up. I'm lifting the chest and I'm lifting the arms and I'm arriving in a stretch. That's the top of the in-breath, and it's one smooth movement from here to here. And I'm pushing up the whole time. I'm lifting the whole time. I'm lifting the chest and I'm going into that position of being contracted, definitely contracted. And I can feel a stretch of the fascia of the body, just like my t-shirt has got a stretch on it. The skin also has got a stretch on it, all the way from the feet to the fingertips. That's exactly what you want. You don't want to overreach. It's not trying to get up to the ceiling. It's just until you feel that body pulled like an elastic band being opened. Then we're going to do the second part, which is changing the condition. It's not aiming for a new posture. It's just softening the legs, softening the abdomen, softening the chest and the shoulders, and letting the body come back down and stack up on itself till you get to the standing posture. So it takes a couple of seconds from here to here. But what you want to try and do is release the whole time. So it's not that you drop the arms and then the legs. It's not that you move into a posture and then drop the arms. Try and get the whole body synchronizing. Just like you'd stretch an elastic band and you'd let the you take the tension out of the elastic band and it comes back to where it started. So we'll start from the beginning and we'll go through that exercise together. If you've just joined on Facebook, you're welcome to join in. We're doing a Tai Chi exercise that helps us understand what goes on the inside of the body. So from a standing posture, first folding. Let the arms hang, let the back be straight, but it hangs forward from the hips. Use the legs, breathe in and push up, push the fingertips up. Feel the stretch of the body, lift the head, feel the crown of the head, and release on the inside. Soften the legs, soften the abdomen, soften the shoulders. Keep the legs releasing, keep the abdomen releasing, keep the shoulders releasing, and everything finishes together. Maybe it did, maybe it didn't, but that's what we're aiming for. We're aiming to draw the mind inside and coordinate the changes of the muscles so everything synchronizes together. Fold. Push up. Keep the legs pushing up. Lift the chest. Lift the back of the neck, crown of the head, fingertips. Feet stop pushing just as you get to the fingertips height. Release. One out breath. One change. Back to standing posture. We're going to repeat that again and again. I'll talk it through in case people have joined in. Let's go through it. You have to work at your own speed because some of you may breathe quicker than others. You have to work at your own speed. So going up is one in breath. Releasing is one out breath. And when you get to the bottom of the release, scan through your whole body. Notice any places, the brow, the teeth, even the thinking, the shoulders, anything inside you that feels there's room to release. Let's see if you can change it. So the timing for change is from the top until the thumbs touch the thigh. Release. Fold. Breathing out as you go down. Breathing in as you come up. Don't just lift the fingers, but lift the sternum. Lift the back of the neck and the fingers. Feel the stretch and then release. Keep the legs releasing. The knees are lightly bending. They're bending under the weight of the body. Remember that idea of a beach ball that you're sitting on and the weight of your body presses down. So you feel stable and settled in this position. And the practice of Tai Chi, whatever you do, whatever you're trying to do, should always, the aim is always to feel more settled. Settled means the body is released. Settled means the mind is calm. Settled means feeling good, feeling happy, feeling quiet, feeling good, feeling very present. We're trying to bring the mind and the body together so they're doing the same thing. If you find yourself overthinking, trying to do, am I doing this right? Am I doing that right? No, that's not right. Obviously, a new exercise, as you're learning it, those are the things you'll be working with, but there's part of you that can go deeper. There's a part of you that can feel what we're doing rather than think about it. So we're encouraging our bodies, encouraging our minds to listen to the sensations in the body and change. Just going to do 3 more. The legs, the lower back, the knees feel like they're pressing into the floor. The center feels like it's connecting onto the feet. The upper body feels like it's dropping onto the center. And the body feels like it's coming stacked, like a stack of tiles landing. One part of the body lands, the next part lands, the next part lands, the next part lands, and the body feels very stable. And the last one. Breathe in, stretch. Change. Tai Chi is all about change. Changing the movements on the outside and also coordinating and synchronizing the moves on the inside. Let's just shake out. If I was in a live class, of course, I'd ask you for feedback. I'd ask how you did that movement, what you could feel, if you could feel like the body was stacked up, if you could feel the pressure of the body coming down on itself, if you felt you could blend with gravity. Rather than, it's a Taoist thing, Tai Chi. It's about harmonizing our changes with the changing of nature, with the changes of nature. And one of the most important things we use is the force of gravity as our friend, as our, to blend with the force of gravity. How do we do that? We get out of the way enough, we change the muscles enough so the force of gravity can press us into the right condition. Rather than ourselves holding ourselves up and being busy and using those erector muscles to keep us active, we soften them off. And gravity does the work, really. Gravity's already there pressing me back in. I have to make sure 2 things, really. One is that I don't let gravity collapse me, which happens. The body becomes too soft and goes out of alignment and collapses. And we all know that one from working on our computers. At the end of the day, we're hunched over, thinking too much. We're not in our bodies. We're drawn out. And Tai Chi is the way of plugging back in to the ground, reconnecting to our whole selves. We can collapse, or we can hold too much tension. And there's this middle ground that we want to try and find in Tai Chi. It's a middle ground that isn't tight and held upright. It isn't collapsed. It's a buoyant, soft quality of being organized, the skeleton being organized, and the muscles hanging off the skeleton. So let's do a couple of exercises using that. If you've just joined us on Facebook Live, we're just doing another exercise, Tai Chi exercise, to help us understand releasing through the body and the organization of the body. So this exercise is called there's a series of exercises called the loosening exercises, 5 loosening exercises, which bring the principles of Tai Chi, make the principles very clear. This one's called number 1, it's a good place to start. So I'm going to start in my basic stance, which is shoulder width. 2 spans between the center of the feet is approximately your shoulder width. The feet relaxed and connected to the ground. The knees feel like they're connected. Make sure that legs don't collapse inwards, because you want a roundness to the thighs. The knees are always going to go in the same direction as the toes. And we're going to get that feeling like I'm sitting on a big beach ball. In order to do that, the muscles in the legs have to change, soften and change to receive the weight of my body. It's not just putting the legs in the right shape, because that's just an external movement. Then you've got the quality change of melting the muscles to receive the body's weight. So what goes on the outside is putting the body into the right shape. And that's the same in any Tai Chi posture. You put the body into the right shape for the posture. And then the quality on the inside, what's the change of the muscles that lets the body settle, that lets the body press into itself and onto the ground and find that buoyancy. So first loosening exercise, the arms come up, the height of the wrists are the height of the shoulder, and they're facing the corners. So if I'm facing straight ahead, facing you, the arms are to the corners. So if this was a clock, 12 o'clock is straight ahead, then this arm's at 10:30 and this arm's at 1:30. And I bring myself into that upright condition, soften on the inside. The first movement, I'm going to move across to the foot, turning my hips until my alignment of my spine is over my foot. About 90% of my weight is in my foot, and the other rest is just the weight of the leg, just on the ground. I'll do the arms in a minute. I'll turn my hips back, and without stopping in the middle, I sink and turn across to the other foot. I'm facing the corner. My hips and my body are now facing 10:30. I turn my hips. I'm facing front, 12 o'clock, 50-50 weight. I move across and turn. My center line and my hips and my chest and my head are now facing 1:30. That's the movement of the body. In this movement, the principles are remain upright in transition. The body remains upright as you move. The body is accurate. So when I move, I don't just want to move the hips. I don't just want to move the body. I don't want to let the knee collapse. So the movement, the knee goes slightly forward towards the toe. The turning is in the hip joint. This is like a hinge that allows the bone of the femur, the thigh bone with a ball joint on the end of it. This is the hinge that allows the hips to turn around. So the movement isn't, can you see if I do this, I move my hips and my knee moves with my hips. This is really, really common. I'm going to come in close so you can see what I'm doing. I just need to make sure you can see it. What I don't want is this to be locked. And when I turn my hips, my thigh comes with it, because that rolls my weight onto the inside edge of the foot, my knee's out of alignment, and you're going to hurt your knee over time if you do this exercise. So structure is really important. The knee only bends towards the toe. And once the knee feels stable, I soften the hips, softening the muscles around the hip joint, around the lower back, allows fluidity to that joint so the hips can turn open. So in this position here, both legs are relaxed, the hips are open to the corner. I feel stable over that foot. I feel stable and settled. I turn back and I'm looking for exactly the same in the movement towards the other foot. We'll do the arms in a minute. I take the tension away. That allows space for the body to press in. I'll say that again because that's important. I'm not looking for a movement that's across. If you look for movement, you'll see the external changes, but you won't find the internal release. What I am looking for is the internal melting of the muscles that allow the weight of the body to press in. When the muscles are hard and held, the body weight can't go anywhere. As soon as the muscles soften, the body weight can drop in. And it's just like this beach ball. If this was a solid ball and you tried to put weight on it, there's no movement. But being a beach ball, when you put weight on it, it receives it and it supports it. The more weight you put on, the more changes of the skin of the beach ball and the more support you get, the more buoyant support you get. So that leg muscle is changing. As more weight comes on, it's changing more. As more weight comes on, the lower back's opening and it's changing more. And as the final amount of weight trickles on, you get the final change. So that change of the muscles on the inside of the body takes place the whole time I'm increasing the weight onto the leg. When I move across, if I don't change the leg, it's in the same condition it should have been for here, but it's got 8 stone more weight on top of it. It's not in the right condition. I need to change the leg on the inside. I need to release the muscles on the inside so that it's appropriate for the amount of weight that's resting on it. Change the leg, receive the weight. (50-50) in the middle. Change the muscles, which allows the body to move towards it. You see, if I'm standing in this position, if I took my leg away, I'd fall over, no doubt. If I took the other leg away, I'm going to fall that way. So the body wants to fall this way. The body wants to move towards this leg or towards that leg. If I soften the leg, I allow the body to fall in. But I don't soften it so much that I collapse. I change the muscles really, really slowly and steadily, just like the beach ball changes its quality when the weight comes onto it. So there's a synchronicity and a relationship between the movement and what's going on inside the body. Just going to do this exercise so you can feel what you need to do on the inside of the body to soften the foot, to soften the thigh, to release the hip joint, to open the lower back, to let all the muscles melt off the bones and receive the weight of the body. So by the time you face the corner with your alignment over the foot, you feel comfortably settled over the foot. Then the hips turn back. Square, 50-50, release to the other side. And what's really common is that you'll feel tension in your ankle. When you move your weight onto your body, it's really common to feel tension in the ankle. And it's because the ankle has been held, the ligaments in the ankle are held, and when the weight of the body comes onto that, instead of melting with the weight of the body, they resist and hold. And that holding force will support you, but in Tai Chi, it's not what we're looking for. So when you move your body across and you feel tension in the leg, it's generally that your leg hasn't changed. And we have to think about this movement like pouring a glass of champagne, slowly and steadily. And when you pour the bottle, you're really careful that you pour gently and slowly. And when you receive it in the glass, you don't have the glass upright, you put it on an angle on the side and you pour into the side of the glass. And both of those things are in relationship to each other. And that's what we do when we pour the weight. We're taking care of how we pour. We're taking care of how we receive. So that when we arrive in the position, we're upright, we're calm, and we're relaxed, and we're stable, and we're buoyant, and we have melted all our muscles. And that gives us that relationship with gravity rather than being held or rather than being collapsed. So what do the arms do? In this first loosening exercise, the arms follow the body. So the classics of Tai Chi, the writings of Tai Chi say that when one part moves, all parts move. So the arms are like the tip of a whip. When you crack a whip or you flick a scarf, the movement comes at one end and that travels to the tip of the whip like a wave, and the fingers are like the tip of the whip. So we don't want the fingers and arms to move independently. We want the arms to move because everything else is moving. So when we move the arms, when we relax the shoulder, the elbow moves. When we relax the elbow, the forearm moves. The shoulder continues to release the whole time the arm moves. What we don't want is independent movement of the arms or block movements of the arms and body. We want the shoulder to change so the elbow drops and the arm moves with it. So there's a wave through the body initiated by the shoulder to move the arm. When the body softens, the shoulder softens. When the legs release, the torso releases, the shoulder releases. So we've just done that in this exercise. When the legs change, the torso changes, the shoulders change. There's a synchronized release through the whole body. It's the same in this loosening exercise. So have a look first, and I'll show you the exercise. The nice thing with Tai Chi is you don't have to worry about getting it right or wrong, because I'm repeating the same thing again and again. And if I get it wrong on this time, if I feel my body tight, my hands are out of time, I'll just do it the next time. I'll let go of it completely and just do it the next time. I want to stay with the feelings, the sensations in the body as much as I can, rather than thinking about what to do and how to do it. I want to feel my body pressing in, feel my body releasing. When I square the hips, that's the timing for my arm to drop and lift. The lifting is open. All the joints are open. It's not to here, it's not to here. It's just to a place that are relaxed and open. So it's almost like I throw myself into a spiral, I turn and the arms are thrown out. Of course, it's slow, so it's not that sort of movement. It's a slow turn, but the dynamics of the turn are such that the turning of the hips turns my shoulders, throws the arms out in a wave. It's like bowling. You move and the arm follows the movement of the set. It's like bowling. Or like playing tennis, you turn. You first sink the base and then the body and then the arm. So you get a power wave through the arm that comes from what the body does, not from what the hands do independently. So when you square, that's the timing to drop the arms. And as you arrive square, the arms are in the starting position, not with the elbows here, but with all the joints nice and open. So you want to make sure that that turning goes right through to your fingertips. Doesn't stop in the elbow, doesn't come to here, goes right through to the fingertips. Turn the hips and open. Take your awareness across to the leg you're going to move on to and start to change the muscles inside the leg. Turn the waist, throw the arms out. Take your awareness to the leg you're going to move on to. Start to release the muscles and let the hips move across onto the leg. Well, the main principles are the body is upright in transition. Body remains upright. What does that mean? That means I have to have an awareness of my body and maintain that awareness so that my head top is always in my awareness as I move. Might just be 10% of my sensation of awareness, but it's always lightly there. And that helps me expand my presence or attention through my whole body, not just in the detail that I'm looking at, because I want my whole body to be one unit. So upright, head top. Smooth, continuous changes. Just like when you sit onto a beach ball, the weight gradually presses in, the beach ball gradually stretches, you gradually drop to the ground, smooth, continuous changes. You don't want to move in and drop your arms. And this is the wrong thing to do. This would be clunking around, smooth, continuous changes. Third principle is accurate. When we turn the hips, we want to lift the arms out to fill the fingertips. We don't want to end up here. We don't want to end up here. We don't want to end up not facing the front. We don't want to end up out of posture. So accurate is important. We don't want the knee to collapse. I don't like teaching from what we don't want to do, but it somehow is easier because you can see if you are making those mistakes, you can see yourself doing them. And over time, because what I'm doing is giving you an overview of what to do, how to understand what you do, but it's the practice of the exercises themselves that really teach you about yourself and about how you move. It's not knowing about what to do, because I can know that the hips should be the pivot point. I should know that that ball joint should be the pivot point. Making it happen is something else. Making it happen is maybe weeks of careful feeling and observation of what the changes are of the muscles, controlling the muscles carefully to enable it to happen. So I feel stable and upright. It may be months, maybe years, to develop your practice and understand these training ideas more and more subtly as we go through working. So what I'm giving is an overview of some of the Tai Chi ideas for training, because it's very easy for the principles to be lost in Tai Chi. For example, if you were to do a class, let's put it another way. Of all the different styles of Tai Chi there are, say you went to a Tai Chi class where the emphasis was a martial art, it was a self-defense class, because Tai Chi is a martial art, and the emphasis was on self-defense and winning. Winning becomes the goal, not the principles of Tai Chi. Winning becomes, can you push the other person over? Can you gain dominance over the other person? Can you push them off balance? Can you maintain your own balance? That becomes the prime goal. And when that becomes the prime goal, it's at the expense of the principles. Likewise, if you went to a school where meditation was the main aim of the class, and the teacher had a background maybe in Buddhism or Zen meditation or Tai Chi meditation, the teacher was much more focused on the presence of yourself, being very present, mindful, connected, then that becomes the main goal. And of course, that's part of Tai Chi. But it mustn't be at the expense of collapsing the body or changing on the inside. It must be that quality of presence is just one of the building blocks we're looking for. If you went to a Tai Chi class where the emphasis was on free movement, and that's part of Tai Chi too. Maybe a dance teacher was teaching Tai Chi and their focus was much more on about, being free, being loose, feeling the waves, enjoying the movements, a bit more perhaps 5 rhythm-y type kind of, maybe some music, loosen up, access that part of us that is held and just expressing ourselves freely with other people moving. If you went to a class where that was the emphasis of the Tai Chi, then you might lose the stable, very present, grounded, ox-like quality that Tai Chi should give you. You know, you're stable and the body becomes a little bit more dense and connected. This is when the force of the ground travels up through you. And if you're moving in a very airy, light way, of course, you might miss that as a training method. So again, that looseness and that fluidity is a building block, but not at the expense of the principles of Tai Chi. If you went to a class, I could go on saying different classes, because I see these all the time when I see different people come to me who've trained with different schools, and the schools become weighted with the teacher's interest. So if you went to a school that was more health-based, where maybe Qigong or maybe meridians or maybe the idea of circulation through the body was the primary emphasis, then you might lose the martial side of Tai Chi. And there's nothing wrong with that type of school. There's nothing wrong with training in that way. It's just that these are the building blocks. Tai Chi covers all these aspects, and the classics of Tai Chi, the principles of Tai Chi, shouldn't be lost when you train. That should be the main emphasis of what you do, which leads towards flowing movements, which leads towards martial applications, which leads towards presence of mind and the meditative quality of being in the moment with what you do. So these aspects come from the principles. They don't come from overemphasizing one aspect over the other. So we'll just have a rest. We'll shake out the ankles. I like to see the body as come in and have a little talk. I like to see the body like blue tack. You know, you have to warm it up. You have to change the muscles. You have to loosen it a bit before it starts doing the right thing. So these exercises at first, they're just one thing. And then as the body changes, as the muscles warm up, something else starts to happen. You start to feel changes in movement and loosening throughout the whole body. And I'd like to work with the shoulders. I'm going to look at what time I've got. I've got about 15 minutes left. I know I'm not covering a huge amount of exercise, but I'm covering more of what the internals do. I'd like to work a bit with the shoulders and possibly a posture. So I've got to think carefully about not going over time. My computer brain's going now. I'm thinking about what to do next. Let's put what we've done into a small sequence from the form, because I know some of you might have done some Tai Chi already, and you'll want to know, well, how do you put this into the form? So a posture. My front edge of my foot is straight ahead, and I'm standing. I'm just going to take this out so I don't break it. I'm standing in a square. That distance between that square, David Bowie Heroes, is shoulder width. There we go. That distance of that square is shoulder width. When that square is on the ground, and this is why I took the record out, my back heel is on the back corner and my front heel is on the front corner. Can you see how small that posture is? My hips are square to the front of the album, and my outside edge of my front foot is square to the side of the album. My center line is right in the middle. And I'm glad there's a revival in vinyl, because you may have some vinyl at home you can do this with. I want my center line to be right on the middle. Have a look, not this way, not too far towards the front foot, not too far towards the back foot, in the middle, and forward and backwards, not too much to the front, not too much to the back. So it's like if I was sitting on a beach ball, my weight's going to be right in the middle of it, not over to the side, to the front or the back, right in the middle of the beach ball. And my legs form the skin of the beach ball. My back knee in direction of the toe, my front knee in direction of the toe, upright and released. Like an upside down letter Y, with the weight of the body pressing down into the legs. I have to change the legs to allow the weight of the body in. My right arm, opposite to the front leg, is the elbow is one span from the body. The hand is straight from the middle finger to the elbow, the fingers on the center line of the body. The arm is at 45 degrees. Center line, as if there's a plate of glass on the center line. Fingers just touch that center line, one span from the body. The shoulder, when the chest is lifted, the shoulder drops down and back. This is the movement. If you can see my shoulder, just get it in place. When the chest opens, the shoulder drops and the shoulder connects. So the arm connects. The front arm is the same, and it's just like our standing posture, with the shoulder released because the chest is lifted. The shoulder's just floating on the chest, and when the chest changes, that's the bottom hand, is the chest changing its shape or lifting, the shoulder moves accordingly. So when the chest lifts and turns open, when it rolls open, when this lifts, it rolls this way, the shoulder drops back. Everything is connected onto the feet. That's the posture. Brush left knee, twist step is the name of the posture. But first is to get the accuracy of the structure, then the quality inside of receiving the body, the weight of the body into the legs, receiving the floor into the ankles, letting the pressure of the floor spread through to the knees, to the hips, sitting on the beach ball, maintaining the upright posture and releasing. That's the structure of the posture. I'm going to face away from you so you can follow me. My first move is going to be forwards onto the left foot. I'm going to trickle my weight forwards. Look at my right heel, it's coming off the ground as the weight leaves the right foot, and I'm turning to the corner. When all my weight is over the left foot and my alignment's over the left foot, I'm going to pick up the heel of the right and put the toe back down and move back fully onto the right foot. So we'll do that again. Structure of the form, the posture, brush left knee, twist step. My center line moves forwards over the left foot. When you feel your center line over the left foot, you turn the hips to the corner. This is a sinking movement, a spiraling down and sinking, giving up the weight of the body, letting it press lightly onto the foot so that you feel fully balanced and stable over your foot. If you're holding on, you won't be able to pick up the back foot because your balance will go. If you're too collapsed, you won't have the structure to do it either. You have to find the structure and the release that stabilizes you in the turning. Then you can pick up the heel, place the ball of the foot down, no weight in it, and move all the way back. Try that a few times. As you move forward, you drop the arms. You relax the body, you drop the shoulders, you pick up the foot, place it behind, and sit back. The movement forward here, onto the front foot, and the turning to the corner is very much like the loosening exercise. The hips are turning, the knee is in alignment, the knee goes to the foot, and the structure of the body in this position is very much like what we're doing in this exercise. So when I move onto the front foot and I turn to the corner, even though this foot isn't here, that's a bit like the loosening exercise. What's happening inside the body is the same as the loosening exercise. When my body's released, when the tension in the body is softened, I can pick up the heel. What I don't want is to be holding on, to be tightening on, to be trying to find my balance. I want my balance to be found by working with gravity and allowing the weight of the body to push me on, push me on, push me on more and more so that I'm free to pick up the foot. I put the foot behind. As I sit back, I lift the arms. As I sit back, I lift the arms. So the timing, by the time my alignment is over the back foot, my arms are at shoulder height. Then the next move is a sink through the body. I'm already in position. As I sink, I drop the body, I relax the shoulders, the right hand comes underneath the left elbow, and I push out the heel. That's the posture I'm looking for. Play guitar is the name of the posture. This foot just misses the other one. There's no weight in the heel. There's no weight in this leg. The finger just looking into the elbow. The fingers of the left on the center line of the body. The hips and shoulders straight ahead. Play guitar. Nice round posture. One span from the body to the elbows. Not collapsed, not too much. Just finding that place where the shoulders sit and the arms are in place. Let's do that together. Forwards onto the front foot, sinking, dropping the hands, picking up the back heel, placing the foot down, sitting back, lifting the arms. Now I'm facing the front again, sinking, drawing in the toes of the left, final sinking, pushing out the heel, arriving in this posture. Turning open, I'm over the right foot, all my weight stays on the right foot. I turn my center line and my hips to the corner. As I do that, the hands follow the movement of the body. As I turn my hips back, the hands fold, I take a step, and I move back into the posture. Have a look. I drop onto the front foot. Sit back. I release, draw in the toes, and I push out the heel. I turn open. Hands are parallel to the side. I turn back and fold. Fold at the elbows, take a step. Left down, right comes into the ear. Move into the posture. Can go through that cycle a few times. Let's do that together. I'm going to face this way so it's easier to follow. Move forward, dropping the arms, dropping the shoulders, feeling yourself buoyant and stable, upright. Step behind, sit back. Release. Draw in the toes, push out the heel. Turn open. Turn back and fold. Take a step and glide in. If you just joined on Facebook, we've only got a few minutes left, but we're just going through one of the forms, one of the movements of the form, and I've been introducing some of the principles of movement so that we're looking at not just the external movement of the body into the right shapes, but the quality of change we need to enable us to be stable, buoyant, upright, and released. Gliding into the 50-50 position, squaring the hips, and finally settling through onto the front foot. Sometimes you'll move onto the foot, you haven't changed on the inside and you're feeling unstable. Just do your best. Glide in, square the hips, finally settle. As you finally settle, the shoulders relax, the arm drops, hands drop, you're in posture onto the front foot and a wave comes through to the hand. Good. Okay, so I'm just about to finish. Thank you for joining me. I hope that's useful. Give us a thumbs up if you've enjoyed it. Thanks very much. I run my own Zoom classes throughout the week. You're very welcome to join them and contact Buddhafield if you want my address for doing that, if that's okay. And thanks a lot. And I'll be doing another one same time on Sunday morning. And if you've joined this class and want to join that one, we'll carry on with this. We'll clarify and look at what we've been working at again, a bit more detail. And thanks very much. Enjoy your day. Have a good weekend. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Luke.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Great, Luke. So we'll see you again on Sunday morning.
Yeah, same thing. Great.
Lovely, wonderful.
Okay, great. Thank
Is
you.
everything okay for you?
Yeah, it's just hard to do it when you don't know what people's experience is, but it is what it is, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
I'll get some feedback from Suan. She'll tell me if it hit the right spot or not.
Yeah, it was cool.
She was doing the class.
Yeah, it was great. You could always